Hey y'all, it's your girl Lisa K. Satchel. For those of you who may not know me, I am a Christian speaker, content creator, and now a 2-time self-published author. So I just put out my second devotional called Becoming That Girl. It's a Proverbs 31 study for the modern woman, and I would love for you guys to check it out. During the book launch, we did a little conversation with me and my friend, and I would love for you guys to hear more about the book, the process of writing the book. So here it is.
I'm so excited about this because you have been on such a journey, and I think it's really cool that you've written a book. I've never written a book, and I think it's such a daunting task for many people. So it's really cool that you've actually done this more than one time. So in context of this book, it's called Becoming That Girl, period. I'm surprised you didn't put period at the end.
Because I love period.
Yeah.
That's my favorite word.
Yeah. So in the context of that phrase, becoming that girl, it's something that we hear a lot in the media and social media and stuff. So what does that phrase mean to you personally? Becoming that girl, what does it mean?
Yeah, so for me, it was like when we think about it on social media, we're like, oh, like I need my skincare routine. I need to wake up at 6 a.m., maybe 5 a.m., like and have all these things together. But for me, it's like when I think about it from like a actual biblical perspective, like what does it mean to be like the Proverbs 31 woman or any of these other amazing women we see in the Bible? Like, what does God say about like who we should be and how we should show up? And that's what the whole thing I wanted to be. I'm so sorry. I didn't pray in.
Okay.
My bad.
You're good.
So everyone, could bow your head, close your eyes. God, I thank you so much for being here in this space with us. I pray that you would just have your way, God. I pray that this would be more than just friends and family getting together, but an opportunity for us to encounter you and experience you and maybe even spark a bigger conversation. We love you. We praise you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. My bad.
Yes. So I love that because I think we don't see the faith-based part of that a lot of times. It's such a secular kind of phrase. But it's really cool that you've written this book from that lens. So what made you choose the Proverbs 31 woman to center this book around? What would you say?
Okay, so the realty is I wrote a book called Living Single. And my next thing I wanted to do was about like how to be found a good thing. So you know how in Proverbs 31, I believe it talks about a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. It may actually be another verse. I feel bad. It's not in the verses I covered in the book, I tell you that. But a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. And I was like, okay, how do you become someone who's found as a good thing? So then
That's a good question.
So then I started studying Proverbs 31. But as I read it and like really got into it, it became so much more than that. Like it wasn't just, okay, how do I become a good wife? It was like, no, this is talking about a well-rounded woman.
Yeah.
Like being a wife is only part of her identity. Like there's so much more to her. So at first it was because I was trying to write a follow-up book to like the first book I wrote that was like, okay, we talked about being single, but how do you be found a wife? And it ended up being so much bigger than that. And I'm thankful that it is and so much bigger than that. I'm sure we'll talk more about the story and all of it.
So Proverbs is one of those books that's more digestible for people, especially like the world. So I think it's really cool that you chose Proverbs 31 because it's something that people can read day to day and it doesn't feel too daunting and like, yo, what is this Bible thing? So I think that's cool. Was there a personal season in your life that shaped the message for this devotional?
So it's so funny. In September 2024, it's not funny. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. That part's not funny. What's funny is God had told me to write this book before that. And so I was in the process of just studying Proverbs 31 before I got into actually writing the actual book. And I finished studying Proverbs 31 on September 25th, 2024. I was diagnosed with breast cancer on September 26th, 2024.
Yeah.
So it's like God knew I'm getting emotional. God knew what was about to happen. It was like setting me up for like, your womanhood is about to be threatened. But like your womanhood is so much more than like having breasts. You know what I mean? Like it's so much bigger than that. And I think that in the journey of writing this book and what I want people to take away from this book is like, you are more than just like one thing. Like being a woman is so many things, you know? And I think we see it as like the way I dress or the way my body is or like any of that. But like, no, the way God created you, like he made you a woman intentionally. you know?
That's so good. I think, too, I've heard little things like Proverbs 31 could be about multiple women and not just one. That's a theory. I don't know. I haven't looked into the theory. But it's so cool that, you know, you can be more than just one thing. Yeah. And Proverbs 31 shows that, and also shows you the journey of a woman. Yeah. And also, like you're saying, aesthetically, it's not only about that. It's about the character and the growth and things like that. So what you, in your author's letter, you talk about this being more than just about character and more about habits. So you said it says being more about character than habits. Yeah. So could you expand on that?
Yeah. It's like I said, with like that girl morning routine or the clean girl aesthetic we see online, like it's so like, here are the things you do, but like it doesn't really talk about who you are, you know? And I think God is so concerned about who we are. I think as someone who got caught up in like performance for God and all that good stuff, I could see that, you know, sometimes I've put more value in the things I do than like who I am. Yeah. And God will work that thing out of you real quick with every kind of experience you can have. And so I was just so thankful to like go through this process and be like, oh, this isn't just about like, it does say she wakes up early. It does say that she's like intentional. Her routine. Her routine. Yeah. And like even she's intentional about the way her space looks, yes. But it's also about like, no, who is she? Like it's all the things at one time.
Because otherwise you'll start going through the motions more than just kind of going deep into your character with God and how you're growing in him and your faith, and you'll get lost in those like routine day-to-day things. So I think it's really good that you're honing in on that. What do you think are some key qualities that define a Proverbs 31 woman?
I think her heart and her character. And in that, I think it's about how does she show up for the people around her? Like, is she kind? Is she loving? Is she really just operating even in the fruits of the Spirit, you know, just to bring a few other verses to it, you know, like the fruits of the Spirit. We talked about this in our small group like a few weeks ago, or I think it was last week, where it was just like the fruit of the Spirit just is the thing we should all have as humans. But it's like, how do you do that even from a woman's lens? Like it talks about how like a woman is worth more than rubies.
That's crazy.
No, which is crazy, right? Yeah. So what does it look like to be individualistic? Because no stone is the same. So what does it look like to be authentically yourself, individualistic, and so precious, not just to those around you, but to like God? Yeah. How are you showing up and representing God? How are you showing up and representing your family and those you love? Like that kind of thing. So I think it's hard to put into words exactly the traits. Yeah, but
I'm going to give you a few that you mentioned. So you had trustworthiness, being disciplined, and being intentional. So why are those traits so important in today's culture? Because I'm thinking about trustworthiness. I'm thinking about like relationships. Like, can you know, are you trustworthy? I'm thinking about being disciplined because today's culture is all about, there's Club Pilates like right here, right? It's all about like being disciplined with your body, making sure you're doing all these things, and then being intentional. So why, with those three key qualities, why are those so important in today's culture, would you say? Yeah.
With trustworthiness, it is so easy to like, I'm your friend the next one day and then the next day I'm not. And then I'm going to spill all the tea you told me when we were friends. Like, unfortunately, I love a good housewife show. And they are really good at that. Like, it's like, well, you told me, I told you that in confidence, by the way. Like, and now that we're not friends, it's not cool to like spill that.
And then they say it's for TV purposes, but those are real people.
There are real life implications of this, you know? Yeah. But I think that's, unfortunately, those women can serve as a mirror to a lot of us because it feels good when someone's done you wrong, low key, to be like, you know what, I'm going to get her back by saying this because she told me this. Like, but at the same time, you have to think like, as a woman of God, is that who wants to be more like Jesus? Yeah. Is that how he would behave? Jesus keeps all our secrets. He's so trustworthy, you know? But like when we get into like, get her back or get back at this person or get back at that person, like it gets so complicated. Yeah. And then even just like integrity, like it is so easy, especially like at like say work, to be like, well, my boss isn't here, so I'm not gonna do the thing fully.
Listen,
okay,
because they're not.
Okay, and they'll never find out they weren't here. You know what I'm saying? But like even in my day-to-day life, I've been convicted with like, okay, but God gave you this job. The Bible says, work as if unto the Lord. Jeez. Your boss actually doesn't matter. It's about showing up, you know, as a woman of God. Yeah. And then what else I say? You told me two more.
You had trustworthy, disciplined, and intentionality.
I love that you're here because I would forget these. So discipline, that's something I'm personally working on.
I
like
think everybody
day by
has
day.
struggled with that.
You know?
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's easy to like not, you know? Like, it's easy to not wake up at the time you say you're going to wake up. It's easy to not go to the gym. It's easy to not eat well because the options that are readily available are not eating well.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to like fall off in so many ways.
And you're your own disciplinarian.
Yeah.
That's the part
oh my gosh.
for me.
You had to parent yourself.
You do.
Zero
and no
stars.
one's technically waking you up. Nobody is.
It's all right, guys.
No one's waking you up. No one's telling you got to eat this. You have to do this. And when, for me, especially when there's no structure or routine for me, I kind of get off track because
Yeah.
I'm like, no one's making me do this. And I think this book especially will help people to stay on track when they're actually not necessarily having that discipline for themselves. This
Yeah.
will help with that.
Yeah.
Did you want to speak on intentionality at all?
I think all of those things you have to be intentional for.
Yeah.
Like, you have to decide in your heart and in your mind that you're going to show up a certain way and do a certain thing, you know?
Yeah, and I think also, again, this book will help you kind of stay on track because people need like a structured day-to-day devotional kind of thing. I'm actually reading a devotional right now, and when I wake up, sometimes you have the Bible with 66 books and you're just like, okay, where am I going to open to today?
Yeah.
But having something like a devotional will help people with that, so that's really good. So for each entry, speaking of the structure of the book, you have every entry includes walk through it, pray about it, and reflect on it. So why was it important for you to make this devotional both spiritual and practical?
Yeah, walk through it. I love a marketing situation. There are shoes on the back of the book.
I love
So
that. And
walk
I have
through
like
it.
I wore the sneakers
And I
today,
wore the heels.
You know, so I love
Word the
that
book.
graphic. It's so cute.
Thank you. So yeah, walk through it was a play on that, but it's also just like, okay, let's sit down and talk about this. Like, what does this verse really mean? And I wrote this on the heels of getting my Master's of Divinity, where they really told us to like lock in on like what, like, you know, like, what is it really saying? Like the Hebrew, or in this case the Hebrew, but or like the Greek, like what does it really mean? So like going to a deeper study of like one verse, because we can read all of Proverbs 31 easily, and like not actually study it step by step. So that was what the walkthrough was.
Yeah.
Pray about it was just like, you know, let's seal what we just talked about, and then reflect on it is just for like really journaling and like, okay, what did I hear? What did I feel? What did I experience interacting with this verse? And there are pages in the book to actually do that.
Yes, I love a workbook.
Yeah, you know, because it's like, I got to be so honest. If there's not pages there, I might not do it. So
Yeah.
I thought I'd set us all up for success by putting it there.
Yeah, I
you
love
know?
that. Yeah, because even the one I'm reading right now doesn't have any lines, and it'll like go to the end of the page, and so I'll try to write in the little margins, and it's not as efficient or sufficient. So that's
Yeah.
really good. For someone that does not feel like that girl,
Yeah.
because I think so many of us don't. Especially when we feel like we're not always doing everything correctly. Like I talked to someone when I walked in today and we were asking how she was doing. She's like, you know, life is really a lifer. Like, you
Girl.
know, and when life's like that, it doesn't feel like you're that girl. So where would you encourage them to start?
I think first of all is remembering who you are in God, because there are times I'll straight up in that vein, I'll be like, I literally feel like a potato. Like specifically. I don't know why I say that, but like, you know, you feel like you're like, my makeup's not cute. I ain't got my nails done, my hair done. I feel like a potato. Like I feel just raw. And I feel like those are the days when you're like, okay, even in that state, you are still that girl.
Yeah.
Like you are still God's chosen. You are still called. You are still beautiful. It's just remembering who God created you to be, like off rip.
Yeah.
And I think that is a good way to remember, okay, once you think that way, like, I think it's Rihanna who's like, if you know you're that girl, you have no choice but to be that girl.
Yeah.
Like, quite literally. If you decide, okay, today I'm going to wake up and go forward and I'm going to be that girl. I'm going to be who God called me to be. I'm going to be who God created me to be. I'm going to be who God already sees me as.
Yeah.
I think that's the T too, is it's like we act like God is like making it up as he goes. No, when he formed you in your mother's womb, he knew, oh, she's that one. She's the best.
Yeah.
Like, that's my child. Like, everybody says God's favorite, all that. Like, he legitimately feels that way. And so just remembering that, I think, is the key.
Yeah, and I think today's world is not that. If you're not a Christian especially, people don't have that to kind of fall back on. Yeah. And I've read, and I'm sure a lot of us have read, Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer.
I haven't read that one.
You haven't read that one? It's a good one. But it just helps you to remember some of those key verses that, he has put in the Bible for you to look back on and remember, like, you're not alone in this. Yeah. And I think this book would be really good for that, because I do think it can be overwhelming, one, to be like, okay, like, I'm gonna read and I'm gonna do the things, and it might feel like another thing on the list of things to do. Yeah. But what would you say to someone who feels overwhelmed trying to be a better version of themselves? How can they kind of, I guess, temper that feeling of being overwhelmed? Or have you ever felt that way?
Feel that way currently, Royal. Thank you for asking. I think I would just encourage myself and everyone. My mom always says, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so for me, that's what I try to do. It's just one step at a time. Because becoming the full version of who you feel called to be is not like an overnight process, unfortunately. And I think that's honestly my beef. It's like, I would like it to just be like, I make one change, I wake up, and it's done. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. You have to do things consistently. You have to keep going. And so it's a daunting task when you look at it all at once. But if it's like, okay, I'm going to focus on my health and fitness journey. That's something I'm focusing on. No, drink more water this week. You know what I'm saying? Like, or go to the gym 3 times this week. Don't think about, for the month, I'm going to go every day.
Or if you've never gone, go one time this week or this month.
Set your goals and build them up. Yeah, there's this book called Atomic Habits. And quite frankly, have never finished that book because the book is so, like, dense. Beefy, yeah, in a good way, where it's like, if I just do one of the things and then I'll go back and finish it, like, that's helpful. So it talks about being 1% better, and it talks about thinking like you're that person. So like, literally, you have no choice but to be that girl if you decide you're that girl. Yeah. So I've decided, okay, this morning I am that girl. What would that girl do this morning? Yeah. Would she do, if she doesn't have time to make it to the gym today, is she going to watch a workout video on YouTube? Because there are a million. Like, what is she going to do when she wakes up? How does she treat people at work? How does she treat people in traffic? My God, today.
Somebody cut me off today. I was like,
you're lucky I'm saved. You're lucky he loves me. Listen.
I love that. So in closing, I do want to say that the title Becoming That Girl, I think will reach more than just the Christian audience, which is really cool. Yeah. Was that your intention, or do you feel like it was just kind of like, that's a phrase that people are using, so I'm going to use it?
It was definitely intentional. Yeah. I don't love that we act like being a Christian is so boring, or like once you become a Christian, you can't have fun anymore. And
it feels like that.
It does feel that way, but it's like, or you can have fun that actually doesn't feel bad later. Right? You know what I mean? Like, that's the real tea. It's like, I get to have fun in a way that's not like, tomorrow I'm going to feel bad about it. You know?
That was for me.
Yeah. Listen, girl, me too. It's fun to not do all the things sometimes. But it's like, but what is actually fun? Yeah. What actually brings you peace and joy, you know? And so whenever I even share content or like even talking, I don't talk so biblical, but I don't talk so not. Okay. So it's
you have
like,
a good in between.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes to talk to me, you do need a base of biblical knowledge, like to have a deeper conversation with me, because that's like the lens with which I see life. Yeah. But I also very much love TikTok. I also very much love Instagram and like things like that. So it's like coming to a point where it's like, okay, how do I be fully myself, but also fully part of the culture? Because you know how they say you're so, this is not in the Bible, but so spiritual that you know earthly good. Yes. Like if I would call this like how to navigate Proverbs 31 and become a Proverbs 31 woman as a modern woman in today's society.
That would be terrible.
But like the subtitle is a Proverbs 31 devotional for the modern woman. Because it's still like, I want y'all to know what it is. I'm not trying to trick you into reading about Proverbs 31. Yeah. But I am trying to get you to read it. Like, you know, and I like I write the way I speak. Like, I write with a master's of divinity the way I speak. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's just like you catch more flies with honey. Yes. And I also think people like need that.
Yeah, like, I love that about the title. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because if we're all like speaking so smart, we're never going to reach everybody.
Yeah,
but then there are some people who need you to speak that way. You know what I mean? And I think that's just the beautiful thing about the body.
Yeah.
Is like there's probably a Proverbs 31 devotional book that is so I was going to say uptight, respectfully. You know what I mean? In title, that's going to draw somebody.
Yeah.
But Becoming That Girl may draw like us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And even the color of the book. Like, I think that too, because I'm a big like cover. What's the phrase about
judge a book by
its cover? They say don't do that, but I do that.
Yeah.
And I look in Barnes and Noble and I'm like, and I see pink pop out to me. I'm gonna grab that.
And like low key, like I looked at covers that I liked, and I was gonna like put the shoe thing that's on the back. I was gonna put it on the front, but then I was like, that's not for everybody. Like that's like gonna be like a fun thing on the back, but it's not like everybody's gonna see that and get it.
Yeah. Because
I also didn't want people to get so confused about like, what is she trying to say with this image? Like, you know what I mean? Just look at the title, babe. It's on the cover. You know? Keep it simple.
I love that. So what do you hope women walk away with after completing their devotional journey?
I think knowing how beautiful you are to God, and how much he loves you and how intentional he was when he made you, and when he made you a woman. Like, he made you a woman on purpose. You are a woman on purpose. And what does that mean, and what does that look like?
Yeah.
And I also think just empowered generally to live their lives fully.
Yeah.
Like, without being scared of what's going to happen next, without, like, hesitating. It's like, no, God created me to live fully, to live loudly. What does that look like?
That's good. Yeah. And just for the people that are in the room, because we want to know practically, what are 3 things that girl looks like today in 2026?
Yeah.
2026, that girl.
You know, she has hobbies. That's something I'm working on. I love something that's going to make me money.
Yeah.
But there needs to be something that's like doesn't make you money, that you just find fun, that you do. She also doesn't copy. She's her true authentic self. She doesn't copy other people. She finds inspiration from other people, but she doesn't copy other people. And she loves God, period.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, is like that's her goal, is to see God's glory here, is to really just live out the way God has called her to live.
That's good. Y'all give it up for Becoming That Girl by Lisa K. Satchel. I love it. I do think that practically this is going to be such a game changer for women in this world, because like you're saying, it's such a good title for the everyday person and for the everyday woman. And just like,
hey girl,
bye-bye to that girl. And just like living single too, your book, that's like a perfect title as well. So I think it'll impact a lot of people's lives. And thank you so much for sharing your story about the book. And I appreciate you. Y'all make sure you get your copy of Becoming That Girl by Lisa K. Satchel.
Yay! Thanks, girl. If you enjoyed that conversation and you feel like this book could be for you, there's a link in the description for you to purchase your copy. And I really hope it blesses you. I pray that it gets you to the next level that God has for you in your life. I've had women who are more seasoned, as they say, tell me that it's really spoken to them and inspired them to keep being women of God or grow in their relationship with God. I've had women my age tell me that, you know, this is a good reminder of like, okay, how do I actually biblically pursue womanhood? And that's really what it's all about, is biblical womanhood, biblical femininity, and it's just for all ages. So I hope you guys will check it out, and I hope that it blesses you. And I just appreciate you taking the time to watch. All right, link in description. Love you. You can follow me on platforms if you want, at Lisa K. Satchel on TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Bye.